Participate in a conversation with once conservative, now liberal Midwest mastered prepared special education high school teacher and a self-proclaimed devil's advocate, East Coast conservative liberal, baccalaureate prepared registered nurse. These two strangers met, became instant friends, and realized their conversations are candid and epic. So join us weekly, ask us questions, and listen to these profoundly candid friends try to solve the world's problems, one discussion at a time.
Hey everybody, welcome to the second episode of The New Theory with Monet and Jared. That's aka TNT with M and J. I am Jared.
I'm Monet.
And together we are teaching minds
and nurturing souls.
So last week when we dropped our first episode, we got some hella feedback. So want to thank those who gave us that feedback, that positive feedback. Got constructive criticism as well. So, appreciate that. We love growing. We love improving. And I've forewarned a few people already based on previous conversations that Monet and I have had and already sharing our conversations that if you liked last week, you're going to love this week.
Ooh, spicy.
Damn heartburn. So with that being said, I'm going to throw it to Monet and let her get us started with our very first question.
Okay, so our very first question is there such thing as reverse racism, and why or why not? Bam. Did not go in order.
I know, right? You threw a curveball at me on that one too. That's all good. So is there such a thing as reverse racism? For me personally, I'm going to tell you no. I can see the argument from a white person as to saying, yeah, there is such a thing as reverse racism. Well, here's the thing. If you look at the definition of racism, and you examine that, there is an implication of victimization. Because if you are exerting some superiority over an inferior race, then some victimization is implied. It's going to happen. Here's the kicker, though. If you're going to claim reverse racism, your victimization is limited to your emotions. Whereas racism in and of itself, in the form of what we see today, Black people are putting their bodies on the line.
White people too.
There's a no.
Oh, you talking about racism?
No,
okay.
We're limiting to racism, not socioeconomic status in regards to police brutality. We're for me, I'm strictly limiting it to racism. So, in general, white people do not put their bodies on the line when it comes to racism. Therefore, if I and we don't much less identify with that. Okay, identify with that because we've not been subjected to that. We've not been subjected to that system. Whereas Black people, by and large, Black and brown people have. And so, for me, reverse racism does not exist because if the racism that's being exhibited onto me is limited to my emotions, it checked myself.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
Me being devil's advocate, and coming from a predominantly Black environment, I can agree with you, yes, but what I want when it comes to, everybody, I can hear all my family screaming, no, there's no such thing. No, there's not.
Don't play devil's advocate.
Yeah, right. But like I said, I have to be devil's advocate in this case. And I have to say that I think what we were taught as Black people in America, we need to start loosening those restraints with regards to not trusting all white people and just, giving everyone face value. Trusting them initially, trusting that they're good, inherently good people, giving them, smiles and not like, just get away from me smiles, but like the smiles that are just saying, hey, I'm trusting that you're not a racist. And I'm going to believe that you're really a good person, especially with this movement that's happening right now. It's proving that there are real, genuine, and now we can almost get to the point where we don't have to point out whether somebody's white or black because they're a good person. I think we're still keeping the lines simply because of the racism, simply because, we can't delineate between the ally white friend and the racist fake white friend. Okay. But I also believe when it comes to, I think if somebody, says something, okay, and it deals with a racial group, we have to, as all people, not look at it like generalization. Okay. Not all white. It's, you know what I'm saying? Yes. It's not, we can't generalize anymore.
But you hit the nail on the head right there, because that's what you were that's the argument that you were starting to make there. You were generalizing people versus person.
Yes.
So,
that's right.
Yeah, people inherently are irrational and stupid. I'm sorry. People in general, irrational and emotional. And therefore you react, and sometimes react poorly. Where a person has the capability of being able to be rational and relate and be able to respond accordingly. So
exactly.
So. Just to, I kind of get where you're going with that.
But no, I mean, honestly, okay, so let's go back to the original question, which was,
what is reverse racism?
Yeah.
Or is there such a thing? And that's what I was going to ask you.
Absolutely
What
not.
is reverse racism, and does it even exist? According on your
no, you're right. No, I mean, not that you're right, but no. I mean, because even when Black people or minorities are talking about the racist person, we're not talking about white people as a whole. A good majority of us have really good white friends. Unfortunately, the ones that aren't racist get lumped in because of the actions of the few. Yeah.
Well, then, and then I guess based on that and how this conversation goes, can we just call racism instead of?
Yeah.
I mean,
reverse. Yeah.
There is
ignorance. It's an ignorance.
There you go. All right.
Period.
I think
that's what it is. So it's not about right. But
so are you listening to that, folks? There is no reverse. It's just racism, straight up.
It is just racism. And you know what? Ignorance. I mean, like, I've been around. I love all people, and I happen to be African American or Black. I happen to be Black. So I'm just saying, I love all people, and when I'm around Black people, I'm not referring to them as an abstract, because in reality, I say when I'm around my people, because I've been conditioned to do so. When I'm around my people, I'm like, no, that's not true. I mean, I actually had a Black girlfriend tell me, Chick-fil-A is owned by Jews. I was like, but they closed on Sunday. She was like, yup, that's their Sabbath. And I was like, bitch, I'm a Jew. Like, what planet? Who are you talking to? I said, absolutely not, honey. But, and here I am because of that situation. And I knew I couldn't get through. I just said, okay. Ooh, that's interesting. Thank you. I mean, but no, so I can imagine being, and I don't know, because it's my, my makeup. I can imagine being a white person and literally internalize, I'm empathizing even with what would be perceived as the enemy. I can understand it, but this is, I'm in that bubble. This is all I know. I would believe that there's a, they call us whites. They say things like cracker, stuff like cracker is really, come on now. When I hear cracker, I'm like, cheese. Yeah,
I'm thinking,
I don't know.
Saltine or Ritz.
Right. So right. Like, that's is it an insult? Oh, never mind. Anyway.
I'm tasty.
Yummy, right? My point is.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry.
sorry. It's like, but that's because there's a lack of knowledge on both sides, and this is what's happening, and I see it. I'm seeing it in the both communities, not so much on the white side, but Black folks are amazed at how the white folks are really stepping up. Like the man that almost got lynched in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And the white people were like, no, stop.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
yeah.
oh my God. And it's like, but then what needs to happen with that, not that there's anything else, because that was beautiful in itself. It's like, yes, there are a lot that need to be trusted. And for the ones that are still riding the fence about, we understand, and police brutality, but if I say Black Lives Matter, then I'm selling out my own race.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, come to this side. Look, come to the dark side. Come to the dark side. Because when you get over here, you'll be like, oh my God, it's so bright.
Yeah.
It is so much love and so much light. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
And here's the reality. When more white people start saying, okay, Black Lives Matter, what's going to happen is you're going to notice, you're going to help change that thing you think is reverse racism. They're going to see, like, for instance, I saw this, I posted it on my page. The woman from Texas, she talked about the cops, like how many white people have been killed in their house by the cops.
Oh, okay.
She's from Texas. She took her hat off. It made me cry. Jared. Goosebumps.
I'll have to go back and look at that. Yeah.
Oh my God. So beautiful. And then because you think, she's in the fields. She's got her Daisy Dukes on with her half, it was a TikTok, half cut off shirt with her cowboy hat.
Right.
We thought she was going to be reckless. And she started, and I love, this is what you call evolution. Okay. This evolution that's happening. We're not primates. We're actually starting to think about what we're saying. And it's hard to talk to people that still want to be in that like brute versus brawn, brawn versus brawn type nonsense. And it's like, no, but we're not doing that no more. No, we can appreciate sports. We can appreciate your physical prowess, but we actually want people to have, whether you want to talk about Kaepernick or not, we want people to think about it. And you know what? How many times on even my Facebook page have people said, no, Monet, that's wrong information. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know. And I'm okay with that. I love saying, I don't know, because guess what? Every day, Jared, every day we're in class, period.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've said that, I've told that to my students all the time. You learn something new every day. And then you follow that logic though. and I do share this with students. If you learn something new every day, the day you stop learning is the day you die.
Period.
And
so it's like,
whoa, you're right.
Period.
And they seek it out. They love it. They're looking.
So I look at my friends that have unfriended me. Unfortunately, they can't talk to me anymore because they can't get, once you block me, you can't get back.
Yeah.
It is. But if they were still friends with me, they would notice what I'm posting is more information, not white hate. Because it's funny, we talk about reverse racism.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the fears with all of this knowledge that we're acquiring, Jared, is people think that Black people are going to look at this and get angry because you know what's happening? These white folks is looking at this and they're getting angry, disappointed. Go ahead.
I was just about to say, I think that leads into your very next question in regards to Black people taking over and feeling I'll let you ask that.
No, you want me to ask that, Jared?
Yes, I want you to ask that because that was your second question. Number 2.
Number 2? All right, hold on. Oh, God. Okay. Do white people feel they would have to kiss Black people's asses if equality was implemented? Ouch.
Yeah, and I think that's where you were getting to.
No.
Yeah, no. I don't feel that either.
You know why?
I know people. I'll say this. In my experiences with the conversation that I've had, short of my parents, okay, and even then to some degree, but no, by and large, no, they my parents are like, no, they're like, yeah, we get it. We're down. We're sorry. Yeah, got it.
Love it.
Black Lives Matter. Totally. Absolutely.
I love your parents. Well, they made
But
you. So it's okay.
but so short of those conversations with my parents, the other conversations that I'm having, a lot of it is they're speaking out of fear. Speaking out of fear. Of what?
Elevate.
Of what? What negative impact is it on you to recognize that, one, Black Lives Matter, and two, that you are part of a system that was set up in place centuries ago that you have no control over? How does that negatively impact you? So there's where my frustration comes into play with all these conversations. It's get over yourself. I don't know how else to put it. Swallow your pride. You're going to be okay. The sun will come out tomorrow. The world is still going to spin, and we're still going to be on this planet short of a catastrophic event that God wants you to go away or come back home.
Amen.
So get over the fear.
Look, there's two things. When you were talking, I heard narcissism. Like, did we create a class of narcissists? That's number one. And two, I mean, I'm serious. As Americans, did we create a race of narcissists? And because you feel sad, disappointed, discouraged, upset at the information that you're getting, what you're feeling is that primate response of retaliation. Now, let me help settle some fears. Because when I tell you, I was 8 years old when I learned about the Tulsa riot, when I heard about Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
For those that don't
I'm 45 now, Jared. It's over. Like, I can't, what's going to happen from me, quote unquote, retaliating? Absolutely nothing. Everything that what you're now seeing has been in the community, has been in the Black community for centuries. It's been, we've lived it, we see it. So we are so like, yo, we got to survive. If we tried to retaliate, I guess in a couple of cases, it clearly doesn't work. We don't have the numbers. We're just trying to, guess what? Eat, live, love, have fun, laugh. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No. That retaliation is what primate. We're not there. You can call Black people monkeys if you want, but the reality is we're far. And guess what? White people, y'all not monkeys either. And this is what amazed me when I got my degree, Jared. When I got my degree, I was like, hold on. Everybody got this information? Everybody got this information? You mean to tell me when I'm looking at psychology, I had to take psychology. So I'm looking, I used that word earlier in the text, oppositional defiance. Okay, that's what that is. When I see trauma, I see trauma in the community. I see self-medication with alcohol and drugs. I'm like, so we all had psychology. When you look at the Black community and lower socioeconomic people, now you look at everybody, you're like, and you could classify them real quick, manic, depressive. You feel me? But not that we need to live under classifications, because that doesn't, that's not, that's not the whole you.
Right.
But when you see people suffering from something, it was because of implementation of something. Now, with that being said, Black people, we have invested too much in America, and not just talking about slave. I mean, we've gone to college here. We're raising our children here. Whether you want to agree with the national anthem or not, I mean, it's something we were raised with. We've all cried at the Olympics when we see our people. And when I say our people, I mean Americans of all kinds.
Right.
Okay, come on, Mike Phelps, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Dominique Dawes, wake up. Okay, my point is, when no matter what's standing on that podium, they're representing all of us. And when and that's especially during the Olympics, because this would be an epic year for the Olympics, 2020, you know what I'm saying? When you see how beautiful America is, I mean, honestly, we know which players are Chinese. I mean, for the educated few, some people may call them Korean, whatever. My point is, we know who's Russian, because all they players kind of look alike. But America, it is beautiful, Jared. I do. We can sit here and talk about, yes, we can talk about all we want about, diversity, because we can do better. Look, all of this is because we can do better. People break their necks to send their kids to college here. People sacrifice anything to live our dreams, our ideologies. We can do better. All of us. Absolutely. But reality is we need those that are still antiquated, still in that primitive mindset to think. Listen, we're not posting all these atrocities to say, hey, let's give us, further to fervor so that we can start attacking white people. No, it's like, look, this is why they're upset, people. This is why I would be upset. This is why I would be raised the way I was raised, not because of some vanishing, some invisible nonsense. Look, don't get me, okay.
Yeah, you say don't get me started, but like you were at it for what? I'm not But that does, I mean, I love how these conversations are flowing, especially when we don't rehearse this stuff, for those that are keeping count.
Yeah, we don't.
Kind of rehearse. This one is absolutely not. But we knew.
He's just my brother.
We just knew what questions we were going to ask.
Yeah.
That being said, so what you just said leads into this next question, because I can, for the radio audience, for those that are listening, you don't see what I'm seeing. She was quite animated just now. And so
it's not hard. It's not hard.
Well, for me neither.
No, it's not.
But that whole time you're talking and just getting amped up, it led me to want to ask you, I mean, do you ever just want to throw your hands up and say, you know what, screw it, I'm done. Go ahead. You live in your blind ignorance, your blatant ignorance, and you just do you. I'm going to go ahead and do me. Kind of like what you were doing a couple of weeks ago with the inflammatory post of segregation, which I'm seeing more of from other folks, which I think is kind of interesting. At any rate, so do you ever just want to throw your hands up and say, screw it, I'm done. You're you. You're not going to change regardless of what you say. And then if so, what keeps you going to continue fighting that good fight? Because life get exhausting.
Yeah, but it's life. Because the reality is, and I can hit this from so many different angles, but I'm going to choose to say this. I love to see people love. Case in point, yesterday when I was out at the market, instead of being in a bubble, I chose to be who I really am. And I encourage, I was having conversations, and anybody that knows me, and Jared, if you tell the story of how we met, they'd be like, yep, I can see that. That's what she did, because that's what she does.
I'll share with a few, and they're like, oh, wow, really? That's how that worked?
Yeah, right. Kind of easy.
Talk about random.
But I do. I'm like, and next to everybody's like, look, the cashier was Asian. The lady in front of me, real shit, she had crickets in her cart. Now, I'm behind her, white lady, little kid, okay? She had crickets in her cart. And at first I was like, they selling fish at the market? Because, it was in one of those little air bags that looked like you would put fish in.
Okay. Yeah.
And she has a frog at home that she's feeding. And how did I find that out? Because I was like, you did such a beautiful thing. And she said, well, I said, you brought them crickets in because, if you would have left them in the car, she said, they would have died. I said, I know. She literally, I can feel her energy. And she was like, this woman is nutty as hell, but that's funny. And so the cashier was like, you got crickets in the supermarket? She was like, yeah. And she's like, because, and she pointed at me, I said, because if she did, they would die. I said, what you got at home? So then I engaged the little girl, and this is horrible because I can tell the child has been affected by society. Because what did she do with this big old black woman standing in front of her? She stared at me. Now, most kids, 9 times out of 10, is like, that's a clown, and she's nutty. And I'm going to talk to her because I feel like she has the brain, the age of mine. But that little girl, hardcore, she literally stared at me. And I said, it's okay, honey. I'm a stranger, but I know you got a beautiful frog that you want to take care of. And she just nodded. And it's okay, because I felt like, yes. Okay, so we want to throw your hands up. And I said, life to me is my relationship with God. Life to me is me saying, I'm not going to end it all. I'm going to keep, I'm going to keep fighting.
Well, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean it like that.
I know.
No, sorry.
No, I said, remember I did initially say I can go several different ways. But here's the reality, not end it all. I'm saying, like, what keeps us going anyway? Because I love people.
Fair point.
I love people, and I know people. Look, I got my family who, FYI, if y'all don't remember, they're Black. And they're like, Monet, get rid of these friends. And I'm like, I still am holding out. They will wake up. Because something I say, and I feel like, and when I say, I know I'm doing his job. Every day I wake up, I know I'm doing his job. I know in my spirit, even when I'm sitting in my room by myself, kiki into the silly things that I think. I have to bring that energy, that goodness to others, because that's what they need, Jared.
Yeah.
That's what they need. Not that I don't need no gold stars. You don't have to remember my name. My reward is in the goodness and laughter and love that I'm feeling. And it's real, Jared. This is not like, I'm so happy. I'm rewarded internally. No, I'm crazy enough to actually love myself much that even if I'm sitting in a room twiddling my thumbs, I'm having a ball, which I don't, because I'm always on the damn phone.
Yeah. That's social media, man.
Woo! So if I'm not getting it through the media, so everybody's like, did you really hug your neighbor and somebody at the supermarket? For COVID reasons, no. My neighbor gave me an avocado, and it was her Haas avocado. Wake up, people. She gave me her pride and joy. I am a hugger. I am, and even though with COVID, really, I have been off my game, because, people don't, and I don't want nobody to be sick, especially considering I'm a nurse. But if you ask me, Jared, yes, when I was in the hospital, I was just like, I probably already got it. So don't feel, all right. No, I wasn't.
No. Bear in mind, we do have an audience. I'm just saying,
yeah, right.
You don't need to be broadcasting it. Just one or two here and there.
Yeah, right. I told a lot of my patients, I ain't scared of you. Now don't think I'm not scared of you. Just don't, when you cough over there. So let me stop.
That's funny. That's funny.
No, I'm responsible. My degree said I am.
You do. I do. Yes, your degree does say that you are responsible.
I tried.
So did the 4 that I have, but here we are.
Yeah, right. Call it, Jared. Let them know. Let them know my baby brother got it. He got it all. And he's good. He's teaching every day.
I do believe it's your question.
It's my question. Here we go.
We're down to let's keep in count. We're down to one last each.
Okay. It says, the more you have these types of conversations, do you feel hopeful or despair? Oh, wait, that was kind of the same thing. Hold on.
That was more of your question. But
it was? Okay.
But you kind of answered that anyway, so.
Yeah. Do you ever just, oh shit, what's wrong with me? Hold on, you're right. Oh.
Yeah, there you go. I was wondering.
Do you think you'll ever use, this is juicy. Do you think you'll ever use your white privilege against a person of color? Keep it real.
Will I ever use it? You said keep it real. I can't. If I do, it's going to be unintentional. But I would hope at that point I would be completely cognizant of my actions and aware of the situation, and know fully well that, hey, what I'm about to do is a result of my white privilege just because I can. And I probably shouldn't. So I would hope. I
got one for you, because I'm devil's advocate. So go ahead, boo.
No, I was going to add that as far as have I ever used my white privilege against a person of color, I don't know that I have. I do know that I have used my white privilege, blatantly or not, to get out of certain situations. mainly legal ones. But you know, such as getting pulled over in the middle of the night, swerving, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
I don't know nothing about
I'm
that,
driving.
Jared.
I'm driving from Greenwood,
Hey,
so River Valley, Arkansas to
you were
Arkansas,
like,
and I'm swerving on the road.
you were
And they're like, "Hey,
21.
what's
What
going
the
on?"
heck?
I'm like, "I'm just tired." And truthfully, I just got off night shift closing at Taco Bell. We got off 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm making the trip
Okay.
till 5 o'clock in the morning, so I'm dog tired. So yeah, I get down to Fort Smith. I start swerving. They let me go because, hey, yeah, you're giving me a legit story, and you're white.
You're cool.
Yeah,
I know what it is to be a white guy tired.
I know the white. I know the area. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If I was a black guy, that would not have happened.
No, it would have been get out of the car, let me search it. It just
Oh
did.
no, I did actually get out. They still made me get out of the car, but it would have gone a whole different path. It would have gone a whole different way.
All right. So when I say I'm gonna play devil's advocate, because I'm so spicy like that. Sorry.
It's all good.
I can see you using I can honestly see you,
Okay.
Jared, using your white privilege to save a person of color. Hello.
To save a person. Yes.
I can see that. I can see you, and that's probably of anybody, whether they are a person of color or not, but that was specifically the question, was a race thing. But I can definitely see you using your age, your level of education, and the list goes on to influence whatever could have gone down to go down. And I see you using it to stop it. And that's just me being,
Well, and I'm just going to back up and say that I pray that I have the strength to do that when the time comes. God forbid that it ever does.
Amen. I agree.
So that's where I'm at with it. So final question goes to you, Monet.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of you asked it just a second ago, but I want to ask it again. With the more that we have these type of conversations, and we know that you kind of answered it a little bit, but I want to have answered it directly.
Okay.
Do you feel more hopeful, or do you feel more and more despair simply because that you're having these conversations more and more?
For sure. I think with this, not just our little podcast, but I think with people not forgetting the movement, I think with the persistence and the consistency, I think, and then even within itself, there's evolution. Okay. People are evolving and not just evolving because they're gaining knowledge, but then their humanity is coming out more. I'm seeing that even and I hate to use Facebook as a, Facebook and Instagram as
conduits.
But they are the conduits.
Got you.
Right.
Yeah.
But the reality is, even people are like, the ones that are just blatantly racist are sick of it, and they're getting angry, which is fine because you can only boil but so long, really. Mm-hmm. And the ones that were initially, I wouldn't call them racist, but they were just, racially confused, are slowly coming to the middle. It's either pushing you far away or it's just making you realize that, like, even when I argue with people that are racially obviously uncomfortable with some minorities, I'm finding that I like to say, well, you're talking to a fellow American, and that makes them stop, because then they realize, oh wait, yeah, you are an American. And then the ones that are just blatantly racist, they're like, go back to Africa. And I'm like, okay, where? Because I need a DNA test to figure out which part, I'm not saying, I'm being honest, like,
Well, the same could be, I'm sorry, I've heard this argument being flipped. Like, if I were to tell you as a white person to go back, what part of Europe are you going to?
Yeah, right.
You too were an immigrant at one point. You are descendant of it. I'm sorry to say, I'm not trying to be flippant or cavalier about it, but that is the truth. Let's just get real about it. So
exactly.
The only people that have any right to tell us to go back where we came from were the people that were here when we got here.
Natives. And
anyway.
So, I feel the irony is in the recognition of others is being born self-love. It is like, I remember being a kid, like, you want to, hearing, children are to be seen as heard, because that was part of my generation. Children are to be seen, not heard. You're going to give me respect to get respect. And now the psychology really is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I need to respect you. How else are you going to learn? And this is real. Like, you don't have to have a college degree. This is just through trial and error and life experiences. I mean, having that additional knowledge. And like I said, and I'm piggybacking on a comment I made a while ago. When I went to college, I was amazed. I'm like, we got all this information. Why are we not doing this? I mean, along with having humanity and self, but I'm huge, like, all you're ever going to probably hear when we have these discussions is about self-love. Because when you love yourself, it's so easy to give to somebody else. Like, I'm doing this for me. Here, you want some? So, and it perpetuates. And how do I keep the ignorance? I'm still human. So I'm not, omnipotent, and I'm not, I do kind of have a shield, because it's like, I'm going to call bullshit. Like, no, you're being an idiot. I'm either not going to talk to you, or we're really going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle it, then I'm going to tell you, this is it. You can't handle it. So I have to go. And then, because I have to reserve my energy, I'm not better than anybody. Everybody will tell you, I'm horrible. Like, some of the text messages, you're like, Monet, I don't need to know that. You're like, Cedar, she's crazy. What do I? Okay.
Well, I'll be honest with you. There's some I'm wondering the same thing. Like, oh God, I hope she doesn't think I'm crazy. But then you're like, you're crazy. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right.
All right, everything's all
Next.
good. Moving on.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, final thoughts.
No, I'm just looking forward to some more podcasts. We're trying to get some guests up in here, whether we use our friends and family or we reach and see. We need questions.
You're right. We do need questions. We're looking at other people to get on the show and getting feedback. So if you've got any suggestions or if you've got any questions, please hit us up. You can find us on Twitter, TNT with MJ, or you can find us on Facebook, TNT with MJ. You see a pattern going on, or you can find us at Google. Guess what? TNT at gmail.com. So not very hard to find us at all. Hit us up, follow us, like us, give us some questions. We want to hear from you. We legitimately want.
Yes.
This does not need to be a two-person conversation where we're just bringing in feedback from stuff that we're getting personally. We want to hear from you. So don't be a stranger. So with that, Monet, I'm going to give you the final word, and then we're going to leave it at that.
I love you all very much. It's easy.
Couldn't have said it better. All right.
All right. Goodbye.